Good day, dear colleagues. Let me introduce myself. I am Ainur Otarbaikyzy. I am an English teacher, and let's start our lesson. The theme of the lesson: Eagle of Huntress. Learning objectives: read a range of extended fiction and non-fiction text on familiar and unfamiliar general and curricular topics. Recognize typical features at word, sentence, and text level in a wide range of written genres. And spell most high-frequency vocabulary accurately for a wide range of familiar, general, and curricular topics. Let's continue our work. I divide class into 3 groups and suggest find out the theme of the lesson through watching the video.
The Eagle Huntress. The Eagle Huntress is a Kazakh language documentary film from British director Otto Bell about Ayşulpan Nurgayev, a 13-year-old girl whose dream was to become an eagle hunter. For over 1,000 years, the nomads have hunted with golden eagles, a skill traditionally handed from father to son. But that didn't stop Ayşulpan. The film follows her on a journey from capturing her first baby eagle through training to competing in a contest against adult eagle hunters. Online photos of Ayşulpan training inspired Otto Bell, who traveled to one of the most remote locations on Earth to find her and her family. He spent all his savings on 700 kilograms of equipment and 2 cameramen to operate it to tell Ayşulpan's story. The snow and the dust, the speed of Ayşulpan's golden eagle, and the lack of electricity in the area made filming a challenge. Ayşulpan and her father as they were riding their horses, filming out of the open door of their van. They used drones for aerial shots and strapped tiny cameras to Ayşulpan and her eagle. Their work paid off with the film capturing the stunning scenery, the nomads' fascinating lifestyle, and their wonderful relationship with nature. The Eagle Huntress is a popular and highly praised film, not only because it tells the story of a strong and brave girl, but because of what her story shows us. She had a dream and, with the support of her family, her own strong will, talent and self-belief, she achieved that dream.
After watching the video, learners work with new vocabulary first, understand the new words, and then read the text about the eagle of hunters in Kazakhstan. Students read the text using method jigsaw reading, and then answer the questions using methods wheel of the names, and each group answers the question. Okay, now pay attention to the activity number 1. 6 sentences have been removed from the review. Choose from sentence A to G the one that fits each gap, 1, 2, 6, using tarsia methods. Children work with tarsia, find the correct answers, and make a shape. After doing this exercise, I use group assessment Graffiti Wall. Graffiti Wall is an assessment tool used in the classroom to let students share their ideas and opinions. Why I use Graffiti Wall? Because having a graffiti wall in the classroom allows every student's voice to be heard, and any students can write their answer to a question without getting talked over, ignored, or interrupted. I chose to put graffiti walls in the supportive phase because it allows students to feel heard and be exposed to their peers' ideas. Activity number 2, it's a group work. Answer the question using Wheel of Names methods. We have only 3 questions. Why was Aysholpan's dream of becoming an eagle hunter? And how did Otto Bell find out about Aysholpan? And what challenge did the crew of Eagle Hunters face? I use these methods because it's very interesting methods for the lesson. Because random name picker in the classroom, this program pick which students will answer the next question. For this task, I use group assessment points. Groups evaluate each other. I use this formative assessment because this tool is used to determine how well pupils perform the task, and it's used when evaluating pupil work. The teacher offers to check the work of a classmate, and the teacher distributes cards with the numbers 1 to 5 to each group and asks the children to give an assessment, write the card with the corresponding score. The teacher discusses different answers with the children and asks them to explain their choice. I think it's a very helpful tool for teachers because this formative assessment motivates pupils to move on. Activity number 3, individual work. Complete with strong, clothing, true, aerial, and priced. For this task, I use self-assessment because it's individual work, and the self-assessments carried out by the child in order to measure their own success. The goals of self-assessment are as follows: to give children a complete picture of their achievements and show whether the personal and teacher assessment match. I use these self-assessments table because this formative assessment build the right attitude towards evaluation.
In order to improve and develop it further.
Where we stand, it helps to identify ourselves, what kind of actions we will help.
Self-assessments can increase the interest and the motivation for the subjects.
Word association game. I say blue, you say sky. I say sunshine, you say summer day. What if I said student self-assessment? Do you see students grading themselves? Each and every student gives themselves an A regardless of how much or little work they've done. But self-assessment is not about asking students to give themselves grades. By definition, that's summative self-evaluation. No. Self-assessment means engaging students in a formative process in which they compare their work to clear criteria and determine how to make improvements. We believe that in all forms of learning, the opportunity to revise is essential. Self-assessment inspires students to take charge of the vision and revision process. In fact, research shows that students who use self-assessment methods learn more, earn better grades, and receive higher test scores. How can you create the right conditions for students to become their own most important resource in the assessment of their own work? This video will provide you with perspectives from students and teachers regarding the optimum classroom conditions for self-assessment and will touch upon establishment of clear criteria with a rubric or checklist, supporting thoughtful self-assessment according to those criteria, setting aside time for students to revise and improve upon their work.
When I look at my work, I feel pretty good because I know that I can fix it and I know that I keep trying.
I can do everything myself and that I can see
I can see what I do wrong and how I can make myself better.
It was really helpful because sometimes you don't get your ideas straight and forget to include something. But when you look at the rubric, you know what you have to include.
We sort of have this philosophy in my class that if you are not at the level you wish to be, then you're not done yet. We start projects now in a very different way. We start them by really presenting and clarifying the criteria, the things that count. So my students now know exactly what their goals are and what they need to be immersed in. The self-assessments help them focus back into that criteria.
So, how do you do self-assessment? Consider a colored pencil technique. First, create a rubric with your students. Then, focus your students on specific elements of the criteria on the rubric by having them use a colored pencil to underline key words of a particular criterion on the rubric, and then look for evidence of having met that standard and underline it in the same color. In this example, for the first criterion, thesis, students underlined clear thesis in red, and then underlined their own thesis statement in red and considered whether or not it was clear. If not, they made a note to themselves in the margins that guided revision. You may guide your class through this process for each criterion. Once the essays have been thoroughly assessed, provide your students time to revise their work.
It's no longer just depending on me to tell them what to do. They're making the decisions themselves. The greatest discovery is definitely, wow, my students can improve so much from this. It's like an incredible discovery.
If you take your time for a self-assessment, it will make your work better because you have to take time to view your own work and not just like hand it in instantly. And then when you realize your mistake, you can't make it.
Check yourself and try to tell yourself what you did wrong, and also try to tell yourself what you did right, and so you're complimenting yourself. And you usually do this on like a writing piece, but you could do it on anything. It's always about improving. So now because you know you could do better, like the next time you write something, you're always looking out for those mistakes. That does make me notice things that I wouldn't usually notice.
When I came into teaching, the most important thing for me as a teacher was to create independent learners. That feeds their entire life.
I say learning, you say growth. I say question, you say answer. I say self-assessment. You say a practical method of helping students identify strengths and weaknesses in their own work and revise accordingly. It is our hope that with these methods, your students may develop the skills they need as independent, self-directed, and lifelong learners.
So what's the point of having school if you can't learn from your mistakes?
At the end of the lesson, we finish with reflection. And I can say that all this formative assessment can help students identify their strengths, weakness, and target areas that need work. Thank you for your attention. Goodbye.